Uno dice game, how to play. The object of the game is to be the first player to fill in all the spaces on your board. Give each player a game board and dry erase marker. Each player takes one die and rolls it until they get a number. Then they write that number in the first space on their board. The youngest player goes first, then play proceeds clockwise. On your turn, you roll all 6 dice and then build a chain from the last number written on your board. To build a chain, you must match a number on a die with the last number written on your board. Then you try to match another die based on color or number to that die. Then the next die to the previous one, and so on until you are unable to match dice or choose not to. Next, you get to re-roll any number of unused dice one time. All the dice in the re-roll must be rolled together. Now you may add or rearrange your chain and include the re-rolled dice. Then you write down your chain. Fill in the spaces on your board in order, matching your dice chain. Rolling 2 stars equals a wild. A wild can go anywhere in the chain, and any die number or color may follow it. You must have 2-star dice in your chain for it to count as a wild. For every pair of stars in your chain, you will write down a single star on your board in the corresponding position. After you write down your chain, you may now apply penalties to other players. If you have any +1 or -1 dice values face up, you may pick players to assign them to. A +1 forces a player to add an extra space at the bottom of their board where the outline dots are. That player makes a box with their marker. If you box all 8 extra spaces, no more boxes may be added, and any future +1 penalties for you are ignored. A -1 forces a player to erase the last number on their board. However, they may not erase that number if it is the only number left. Multiple penalties may be assigned to the same player. After you have assigned penalties, you end your turn by calling out the color and number of the last die used in your chain. Now, every other player who has that number as the last written number on their game board gets to add that number to their game board, and the player who has the game board that is the same color as to what you called out also gets to add the number. If you have the game board that matches the color you called out, you do not get to add it. And if any player has both the number and colored game board, then they may only add the number once. Wilds at the end of your chain help all players. The first player to fill in all the spaces on their game board, including all the extra spaces added from penalties, wins.